Welcome, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another Community Fit, and in particular, a midweek desk stretch. I'm your host, James, and we are going to work on shoulders and hips this week and for the next few weeks. Before we get started, we recognize that we had a little bit of a scheduling snafu last week, and it has been corrected. We sent out a new invite with the correct time. Last week it was like a 12 p.m. start time. The correct time always for Community Fit, at least right now, is 12:15 to 12:45. So there should be a new link sent out. If you didn't get that, no worries. A super simple fix is to actually just drag, drop, move within your calendar, whatever calendar it is you use, move that Community Fit invitation to a 12:15 time slot. The same link works. It doesn't matter what time you sign into that link is going to work today and every Wednesday. So just know there should be the problem has been corrected. New link has been sent out. But if for whatever reason you didn't get it, or you just want a super quick, simple fix, you can drag and move that within whatever calendar it is you use to store your invitations. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. For Wednesday's classes, our embodiment, our movement class, we always get started with a nervous system regulation practice, or like a little bit of time, 3 to 5 minutes of just kind of grounding, settling, calming, opening up our nervous system to whatever work it is we're going to do that day. If you have a practice, whatever that is, by all means, feel free to do whatever your practice is. And if you're like, I have no idea what a nervous system regulation practice is, James, don't worry. You can follow mine along with me. My practice is not better than your practice. So again, if you've got one that you like to do that while I'm doing mine. And if you don't have one, feel free to follow me along. If you are interested in more nervous system regulation practices, please join us on Fridays. Same time, 12:15 for ACT, Adjusting to Change Toolkit program. It's a course, and we just kind of go over some nervous system regulation work. This particular segment, this 6-week session, we're really working with kind of a controversial topic for a lot of people, and that's meditation, and kind of demystifying some versions of meditation, kind of taking it out of this thing that a lot of people think that they can't do, or that it belongs to some version of a religion somewhere, and kind of demystifying that and show you how you are practicing meditation probably unintentionally quite frequently, and how you can get better at the practice to turn that thing that you kind of haphazardly do every once in a while into something that you can resource whenever and however you need it for a little better mental health. So that's where we're focusing our attention right now, because March and April are stress and mental health awareness times of year. So, with that, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with that nervous system regulation work last, because we're kind of separating this series to upper body and lower body. Last class, we focused a lot on shoulders. We'll touch on shoulders at the end of the class, but we're going to get started today kind of where we left off last week, which was meditation or an awareness practice on pelvis, hips, so on and so forth, and then turn that into a movement practice. So, enough talking. Let's get to nervous system regulation work. If you got to practice, feel free to do that. If not, follow me along. The practice that feels really important for me to do today is actually some tapping. So this would fall into therapeutic touch. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put one hand on my chest, and I'm just going to do a little tapping. You can do it open-handed. You can do it closed. You can even kind of take and just little fingertips, whatever one feels best. Tapping and therapeutic touch sometimes takes a little longer to kind of regulate the system. But I find that some of that therapeutic touch, specifically tapping, tends to last a lot longer. Sometimes things that feel subtle and soft and take a bit actually last longest. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to couple this with some breath. The breath I'm going to do today is called a physiological sigh. It's a double inhale followed by a single long exhalation. Inhale, another inhale, long exhale. Or you can just breathe normally. As I pay attention to what my body needs or wants, I have a window right here. And I'm feeling the urge to kind of just look out the window and watch the trees kind of move in the breeze. Another 15, 20 seconds to do whatever it is you need to do to caretake your nervous system. And then just kind of notice. Notice any differences that little bit of a practice made for you. Now, I'm going to scooch back in my chair just because a lot of today is going to be focused kind of on like hips area. So we're going to get started where we finished off last week. If you have, you'll notice that this is just kind of like a not an ergonomic chair, not a squishy chair. It's kind of a firm chair. For my body, this is actually what I prefer pretty much all the time. Like this is the chair I do almost all my work from. So, if you've got like a side chair or a firm chair at your disposal, you might want to think about using that today. I've got a little piece of hair stuck in my mouth. Um, and if you don't have one at your disposal, do it in whatever environment you have, but think about exploring it when you get home or later in a firm chair. I guarantee the practice feels very different if you've got a firm surface to work with versus something that like a pillowy sofa ergonomic chair that's a little more squishy, right? Here's where we're going to go. You're going to sit in that chair, feet separated and grounded, and just kind of a dignified back line, not a pompous chest, just like a straight, dignified back line, front soft, right? So I'm not squeezing, I'm not trying too hard, but I am sitting at my height. And from there, I'm going to locate within my own body where is in my body, in your body, where is either your tailbone or your pubic bone. Tailbone is the base of the spine. Pubic bone is where your pelvis comes around and kind of connects into the front. Tailbone or pubic bone, your choice. And you're just going to locate where is that in your body. Maybe a region of your body you are not accustomed to paying attention to, but you're going to do that location in your own body. And that is sort of in the midline of your body. And then on the right hand side, underneath that butt cheek, you have a right sit bone. And on the left hand side, you have the left sit bone. If you kind of rock right and left on a firm surface, you can feel those bones kind of underneath right and left butt cheek. End up somewhere where you can feel both sit bones, both right and left. It doesn't matter if they're totally equally weighted, some version of that. And then be aware of where the pubic bone and the tailbone are and pick one as your spot. I'm going to be really clear about my language here. From the midline, you are going to squeeze together right and left sit bones. You're going to squeeze, pull together, contract towards midline, both sit bones. And then instead, you will change your mind. Very clear here. Release, relax, yield, soften, and allow them to widen apart. There is a purposeful contracting, pulling together towards magical midline, and a yielding, softening, widening apart. Often this is where people get stuck. Do I squeeze my butt? Is this a Kegel? Is this, what do I do? How am I doing it right? The answer is yes. It's with whatever you have. Very crystal clear, intentional. These are the only directions you need. In your own body, find that magical midline, pull everything towards the middle, and then instead release, relax, yield. If you can see yourself in a mirror and you're doing all sorts of funny business with your spine and rocking, too much work. It is a squeezing, a pulling together, and then a yielding, relaxing. You were probably squeezing butt cheeks and pelvic floor, maybe even some abs, maybe even some leg muscles. And then you are changing your mind and you are probably feeling everything soften. Now, as you continue, chances are, if you've got that midline and you've got a left and a right side, one of those sides is probably more apt to contracting and pulling together, and another side or that same side that is more or less reluctant to widen, release, let go. You have to use some visualization here. I have a middle magical invisible line in the middle, and then a line on the left and a line on the right. And as they pull together, one probably is like, yep, I can pull together quicker. And then maybe that same one or a different one is like, but I can't quite widen or relax. And here's where you do some investigation. If you have hip pain, that side that is more apt to pull in and or release, relax, is that your good side or your bad side? Is it the side that is cranky, that is tight, that pops, that makes noises, that you've got SI joint pain in, knee pain in, ankle pain, whatever it is? Or is it the opposite side? And I want you to start to make some connections here. Maybe I don't have a good or a bad side. Maybe I don't have a knee thing. Maybe it's like a right versus left, and how they pull together and how they release, relax, yield. And maybe a practice for you is to just be here going, oh my God, I've never noticed that about my body, that I can sense a tension and a release. And I can be there with that. Now, if you're like, I've been practicing this, James, because this is something we've gone over in previous classes and we went over last week. Got it. Can you be in the mode of release, relax, widening, letting go? For the remainder of our hip practice today, quite literally the entire point of everything we're doing, no matter what it is we do, is to be released, relaxed, widened, letting go. Never squeezing, never pulling together, never contracting towards midline, but instead being as wide, taking up as much space, being as relaxed and yielding as we can be for the next 10, 15 minutes. That is the point. It's not about doing a stretch. It's not about doing an exercise. The entire point is to be in the embodiment of wide and soft. Okay? And I keep going over it because that's the point. And there will be questions about it. That's it. That's the goal. Now, we can start layering on top of it, right? It's like learning how to dance. You learn a few basic steps, and then you add something, and then you add something. Same with a sport or a musical instrument. You learn a basic, and then you add to it. That's what this is. It's not switching gears and doing something different. It is the base of widening, relaxing, and then we add a movement to it. The first movement we're going to add is, can I be released, relaxed, and widened and kind of rock towards pubic bone in the front and tailbone behind? Chances are when you go one direction or the other, something's going to want to squeeze. Your job is to not squeeze, but to stay released, relaxed, and wide. I don't care where you put your hands, the practice is softening. Now, from there, you can find the middle and you can rock right and left. And maybe the sensation or the awareness as I'm rocking towards my left hip And then I'm rocking towards the right hip. And no matter which way I rock, everything is wide, everything is soft. For me, my right hip is the one that has a harder, it will contract towards midline. It does not want to widen away. And as I rock towards it, it wants to go, no problem, I can squeeze and support you. And I have to consciously go, soften, relax, stay supple. And I've essentially just made a plus sign, rocking forward and back, right and left. If you can do that, then you can make that into a circle, right? And this is not like a hula hoop through the spine, right? My spine is relatively straight, and I am intentionally moving right hip, tailbone, left hip, pubic bone. And it can be big. It can also be small. And then reverse. Good. Find your center. Remember, what's the entire point of today? Released, relaxed, taking up space. Now, instead of a strong, solid spine, we're going to do like a little rocking. I rock backwards towards my tailbone and pubic bone. This time, feel your pelvis, right? So I've got that pelvis, and I'm like tucking the pelvis and then moving forward. Often, when we go into some spinal flexion or I round my low back to kind of tuck, 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 I will feel inclined to squeeze to keep myself from rocking backwards. What's the goal? How relaxed and supple. And then as I go forward, I will often, towards my pubic bone, I will often throw my chest forward, soften there. This is almost all happening below the belly button. If you are a visual person and you took a side view of you, your spine is going from like a letter I, totally straight, tucking the pelvis like a little letter J, back to letter I, and then almost like flipping the letter J to where your tailbone is sticking behind you a bit, right? So it's like a little scoop, flat, and then like a reverse. It's pretty small. It is not a seated cat cow, right? We're not moving the totality of the spine. We're just getting some pelvic movement. It's like a little pelvic rock. Good. Find your center, stay wide. Take your favorite leg and crisscross it over the other, and even scooch back so that you end up more or less in this shape. Now, for some people, this shape is not really doable, and that's fine. You can take and almost put your leg somewhere else and kind of slide this leg up and down, right? This leg can just kind of crisscross over a bit like this, kind of down here. I don't care where you put this, right? You don't have to be uncomfortable. Now, once I'm in this, what am I doing? I'm checking in, wide, soft, relaxed. And then I'm going to do some rocking. And now you can feel you have had an experience with the distinction between a pelvic rock and kind of a flat backed rock. So experiment. Flat back rocked? Am I equally weighted right and left butt cheek? If not, what do I know about myself? Which hip is tighter in reference to the exercises you've already been through today? What do you know about, do they want to contract or do they want to widen? Can everything be wide? Then after a little bit of flat back, you can go pelvic rock, which should feel a little different. And then you can go into flat. You can even make it a little bigger or a little smaller. And then you can go into pelvic rock again. Now, set that leg down and just notice any difference between the right and the left hips. For me, I feel like my body wants to slide into the hip that I just kind of released a bit. Yours might be different. You're just going to notice. And then let's do the other side. I start off, the entire point of the practice is what? Width, releasing, yielding. This for me, what have I already talked us through? Which is my tighter side, the side I'm working right now. So I'm going to anticipate it's different. I'm going to do a little bit of rocking. And then instead, pelvic rock. Flat back. And then a little pelvic. And release. Notice any difference here. Then, and I'm going to just move my chair a bit. I'm going to slide all the way forward on my chair. This is another reason why like ergonomic rolling chairs aren't often the best to do this with, or you got to kind of lock things in place. Coming forward, opening up your legs a little bit wide here. From there, my knees are going to come towards each other and my knees are going to open up. I'm going to switch the camera angle just a bit so that way you can get a slightly different view here. My feet are firmly more or less planted. Knees are going to come together. Knees are going to open up wide. Now you'll notice my feet aren't moving. My feet stay where they're at. Now, with this, we're going to add some body movement in, some upper body movement. As my knees come together, I'm going to round my back like a cat, in the shape of a cat, if you know cat-cow. Rounding my back. And then as my knees open up, I'm going to send my chest forward and I'm going to look up. Rounding and up. Two more. And release. From there, we're going to just take and kind of jiggle, bounce, do a little restless leg action. Just kind of letting them move. You can move independently, and if you want to just do one at a time, just try one at a time. And then experiment with, are my feet moving in the same place, in the same way? And what happens if they go, one goes forward, one goes back, they go out to the sides. They just get to kind of hopscotch and move all around. And then take a few breaths. Now, imagine your hands are paintbrushes. And this is a visual exercise. I want you to imagine your paintbrushes are dipping into two cans of paint that are your favorite color for today. I don't care if that's purple, orange, black, white, whatever it is. They dip in, and then they're going to paint the legs all the way down and all the way back up. And they paint not just the front of the legs, but the sides and the back, the inside all the way up by the hips, down towards the feet, back up. From there, I'm going to move a little forward here. Move this. Perfect. Let's transition into some shoulder stuff. We're just going to start to move and roll the shoulders. And then maybe one goes back and one goes forward. It's getting some rotation. And then reverse. Now, while you're doing that, what's going on in the hips and the pelvis? Is it soft, relaxed, wide, as can be today? Or have you started squeezing again, right? And then both shoulders pull up towards the ears. Maybe you take a great big inhale. Softening. Inhale up towards your ears. Exhale, soften. Now, maybe as you inhale, it's like a little turtle hiding in their shell. Exhale, long necks like a turtle coming out of the shell. One more. From there, both arms are going to reach up towards the sky. Take a look. Remain seated, remain soft and supple, right? Imagine, and if straight up isn't working for you, it can kind of be out in front of you. Honor where your shoulder joints are today. Reaching up. What's your favorite tree fruit, right? Not a strawberry or a pineapple that grows on the ground, but something up in a tree. Maybe it's an orange, a pear, a plum, whatever, a cherry. And you're gonna reach it, and it's like it's almost just out of reach. Reach. And then other side, reach. Now, as you do that, your hips, your pelvis stay soft, relaxed, wide, supple. That can be here. It can be out in front of you. It can be over to the side. Remember to breathe. And released, relaxed. Maybe just a little more shoulder movement. A little bit forward. So we got some upper body movement going. We got a lot of lower body movement. Let's combine them together. And here's how we do that. Seated, you're going to turn your head to the right. You're going to let your shoulders go to the right. You're going to kind of cantilever or weight more into the right hip until you feel that left hip kind of lift a bit. Twist, take a couple of breaths. Undo it, and then go to the other side. Head, shoulders, hips. Exhale, back to the middle. One more each side. Last one. And then just kind of shake it all out. Shake, 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 shake. Check in. Are you still wide, relaxed, yielding, even as you shake? Now, choice time. You can either go back into the rotations, you can go back into the leg movement, go back into the arm movement, right? So there are three biggest movements: leg movement, rotations, arm movements. Or you can kind of solidify and bring it all together. And here's how we would do that. I'm going to move my chair a bit, move my arms to the back, move my legs out in front of me. I push down with my arms, push down with my legs, and send my hips forward. and then I come back. Push down to go up. Two more, doing whatever you're doing. One more. Come back and just shake it out. Good work today. Remember, what was hard for you? What was easy and enjoyable? Pick one or two things and practice for the rest of the week. I'll stick around for whatever questions you got here. Thank you so much, and join us on Fridays for Adjusting to Change Toolkit, or jump back in with us next week. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. Great class. Great class. I don't see any questions in there,
Nope.
so it looks like everyone is good.
Yep. Okay,
All
everyone.
right.
Thanks.
See you
Thanks for
Friday.
everything. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.